Hey y'all, KSResin's Art Sanity here, and today I'm going to make a green and gold serving tray using this Geode style mold. So to start with, I've just got some clear packing tape that I am cleaning the inside of my mold out, getting any specks of dust or anything that might be in there. And I've already got my resin all mixed up. For this first part here, I'm using the general use resin from the Epoxy resin store. My products, I am using Art Tree Creations Stormy Tropics, which is a gorgeous dark green color, and Burnt Honeycomb, which is a really pretty gold color. You can get those at resincolors.com. And then my light green color, I'm using Poison Ivy mica powder from Glitter Chimp. And like I said, I've already got everything all mixed up. And to start, I'm just putting down a clear layer of resin in the bottom of my mold, just enough to cover up the bottom of my mold. Then I will come in here with my colors, starting with the dark green, and just pouring them in my mold. Really no rhyme or reason, just getting them in there. I will then come in with my light green and just dump it in there again. I will come in with my heat gun to heat up the resin and get it moving and flowing to marry all those colors together. And I'll do this a couple of times. Now, my gold, I do wish that I used more of that. It does kind of get lost in this piece. But I will just continue laying in my colors, bringing my heat gun back in, heating everything up, getting everything to kind of flow together. And then when I'm satisfied, I will cover this and let it cure for 24 hours. This is just clear resin that I'm putting in here. And I'll come in here with that gold. Like I said, I do wish I used more. It does get lost. This is a really simple and easy project. Just get your colors in the mold and use your heat gun. Heat everything up to get them to flow together. I do pour this into 2 layers. Now, I don't know what happened to the footage of my second layer, but all I did, once I get this part done here, like I said, I will cover it and let this cure for 24 hours. And the second layer is just going to be that dark green Stormy Tropics. I'm just going to mix some of that up and fill the rest of this mold. Leave that set for 24 hours to cure, and then here I'm demolding it. I like the different effects in here with the greens. And you know, the peek through of gold. I do wish there was more gold in it. So now I'm going to use, this is just plain school glue, Elmer's school glue, that I am putting all over the back here because I'm going to put my handles and top coat, and this glue is going to act as a barrier to catch my drips for when I put that top coat on the front. So just pour some glue out on your piece and move it around. Make sure you get the edges really good because of course that's where your drips are going to be. The only bad thing about using the glue instead of tape is, of course, you've got to wait for the glue to dry, which will take, 2 or 3 days. But using the glue is much easier than tape, especially on the jagged edges. And you don't get any bleed through with the glue. So once the glue is dry, I am now scuffing up the front with just some sandpaper. I think this is 120 grit. And then I will come in with some 91% isopropyl alcohol, clean all that up before putting my handles on. Now my handles, they're just like drawer handles that I get from either Lowe's or Home Depot. Every time I go there, I run down the aisle and see if there's anything new that I like and pick it up. I use hot glue to glue them on to hold them in place while I use my top coat so they don't move around. Now, you saw me there. I didn't like how that was positioned. I pulled it right off, pulled the glue off, and now repositioning it. You can absolutely do that. It will not harm your piece. And, at the end of the day, you're putting a top coat on here anyway, so any blemishes that might be there will be covered with that top coat. And I'm just eyeballing all of this. I don't measure anything out. I eyeball everything. So once I get the handles into place, I come in with my resin here. Now for the top coat, I am using liquid stone epoxy from KSResin. I will pour that out on top. I will come in with my heat gun to heat it up to make it easier to flow and push around my piece so that I make sure that I get everything good and covered. Now, when I'm moving it around to cover the top, I'm being very careful not to get my handles. I want the resin to go up a little bit on the little feet of the handles, but I don't want any resin on my handles. If you miss it, don't see it, and get it wiped off in time. If it cures on there, it's stuck. You're not going to get it off. So just being very careful to make sure, the resin's all pushed up. Everything is good and secured around those feet, around the outside of my piece. I will make sure there's no air floaties, as I call them, any dust or anything that fell in there. Cover this and let it cure for 24 hours. And then I will I'll show you how I take the glue backing off of this. So it's cured. To get this glue backing off, just use your heat gun, heat up a little spot, use your knife to pierce a hole. Now you just want to get the glue. You don't want to go down deep and scratch your piece. So just pierce a hole and keep using your heat gun to heat up the drips around the edges there, and just pull that glue off as you go. And it comes off really easy. It'll come off in one piece if you do that. Just keep heating as you go. Excuse me. Now I do put rubber bumpers on the bottom of this. They're 1/2 inch. They're self-adhesive. I just stick them on there, as you'll see here in just a second. And I'm going to call this piece done. So, as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and leave me a comment. And until next time, see ya.